everyone. I would like to start tonight's talk with this prompt. What if, by wearing a t-shirt, you can make our environment better? But it sounds a bit weird, but we'll get to the details in a bit. So let's talk about who I am and why I'm here. So my name is Dianjen Lin. It's kind of hard to remember. You can call me DJ or Dijon. And my my motto is that design should always be drenched in sustainability and dignity. And in terms of how we define dignity and sustainability, we'll get to the later slides. And I currently define myself as an interdisciplinary designer / researcher. So, as Ursula and Sophie pointed out, the lexicon in terms of how we communicate sustainably is a bit not so right at the moment. So I started with this philosophy, which I framed as regenerative sustainability activism. Let's talk about where we are at right now in terms of sustainability. So we have, I don't know if you can read those tiny fonts. So if you see from the right corner there, let's say if we give environmental burden to -10, and then to environmental benefit to +10. Our global-sized, large-scale production is probably -10, probably in terms of fast fashion. And maybe localized small-scale production is a bit less, -5. And then what we're doing right now in terms of sustainability is, say, chemical recycling or textile waste downcycling, making textile waste into installation of architectural usage, or textile waste recycling or upcycling. And then we have now more, as we can see, in sustainable fashion businesses in terms of natural dye or eco-materials, which are not causing environmental burden nor, environmental benefit at the moment. So what I'm pushing forward in terms of regenerative sustainability activism is to have perhaps a photosynthesis material or to have pollution filtering material. And at the moment, we see sustainability as the quality of not being harmful to the environment or depleting natural resources, and thereby supporting our long-term ecological balance. But what's missing is in that it's not regenerative. Regenerative sustainability advocates that we tackle the blind spot of passively alleviating our environmental burdens. So what if we can positively regenerate, detoxing and purifying our surroundings to accelerate the environmental catharsis? So with this philosophy adding on design activism, which then I framed it as regenerative sustainability activism, this would be able to inspire more designers to draw their attentions to this underdeveloped space for more environmentally beneficial products or designs. So if we put this, imagine if all the businesses that we all are familiar with, work with regenerative sustainability activism. We will be able to give consumers a very easy way to engage with sustainability or positive environmental impact from an industrial level, and then fashion can act as an activism channel for change. Why don't we change our lexicon instead of being less harmful to the environment to environmentally neutral, and even push that further to environmentally beneficial? Talk about regeneration and detox instead of mitigation or offset. So I started my research project to developing a photosynthesis material according to this regenerative sustainability activism. And since the fashion industry possesses a really great influence for its omnipresence, with our collective will, we were able to save the ozone hole. Remember back in the beginning of the 21st century, everybody was talking about ozone depletion, like with and then later on these days, we learned that actually with the legislation, education, and media communication in place, now the ozone hole is shrinking because we've banned CFCs, which is the chemical that resulted to ozone depletion. And why don't we let fashion lead the next reversal of global warming? So I started with my research, which is developing this photosynthesis material, starting with inoculation onto the fabric, which I use photosynthetic microorganisms. And then you soak them into culture mediums until it reaches the desired growth. You remove them from the medium and then air dry. So then you have this living material that you can keep taking care of, and then by wearing it, doing your work in the office, working on your laptop, it does photosynthesis for you. It absorbs carbon dioxide from the air while generating oxygen that you can freshly absorb. And also, benefiting your surroundings. So the interaction of the post-carbon material is that it's capable to turn CO2 from the top into O2 by only relying on sunlight or any sort of indoor light source after my research. And then also just a little bit of sprinkle every day, water. And then it would be able to conduct this photosynthesis as long as it's alive. So with this new material, imagine a post-carbon t-shirt you're wearing. Say if you're small or medium size, you would have 6,000 square centimeter of surface area. If it's completely covered by this culture, you're able to generate 0.728 amount of oxygen that's generated by a tree in one day. And if today you wear a medium to large size t-shirt, you're able to generate more oxygen than the tree in one day. So this is my project. You can follow me on Instagram, which I only started freshly, and please follow me. And I have my website and email if you're interested. So this is a part of my slides. And today I actually came in the place of Martin, who is my wonderful colleague at the Sustainable Angle. And I have a few of these commercially available textiles here for you guys to see. So annually we host the Future Fabrics Expo, which actually just ended in January. It's about 3-4 days, and it's actually not so far from here in the Iris studio. So if you look up online, you'll be able to follow us. We also have a virtual expo. So it's perhaps interesting for designers to know that it's very, very difficult sometimes to source your materials. It's because sustainable manufacturing processes are very excluded in very, very small parts of the world. So for instance, here I have this one from Flavia, which is harvested from wild rubber in the Amazonian rainforest. They work with social enterprises, which then allow them to employ indigenous people and stop rainforest deforestation. And then they can, as you can see here, it's wonderful, great colors, and you can use these to make bags or shoes. And then here I have also Fruit Mat, which is an apple leather, and it's made using post-industrial waste. If you buy apple juice, all the puree, they use all these puree to make this amazing leather you can see here. As you can see, from the leather industry, there are a lot of toxins involved in terms of tanning processes, and also the ethical problem in terms of killing the animal. I know some of them, they say they're a byproduct of the meat industry, whatever, but I believe a lot of people here are perhaps vegan or vegetarian at least. So if we have these apple leather alternative, why do we still use the leather? And this is from post-industrial waste. And then here we have the quite famous peanut axe, which is also from pineapple waste. They use these coarse pineapple fiber to use to make this pineapple leather, which is really, really sturdy. And they also were able to make waterproof coating, which you can which you can make to which you can use to make bags or shoes, which are really amazing. And then this one is organic cotton colors. It's perhaps interesting for you to know that a lot of times we see cotton as white. And that's what we properly acknowledge from the cotton balls they grow. But this company, they use no dyeing process at all. And cottons are actually not grown in just white colors. They grow in brown and green and yellow, all these different types of shades. And this company doesn't dye them, they just use the organic natural color to grow and spin the textiles. I know I've been. So in Sustainable Angle, we really try hard to diversify our fiber baskets. Instead of using cotton, you can perhaps try using linen or hemp. And think about what are the alternatives to leather. There are so many great innovations or eco-materials that are coming up. And these innovations really need everybody's energy and power to support them, to keep the innovations, and to help transform the fashion industry a little bit better. Okay, thank you.